Have you ever walked away from an apology only to realize you were the one who just apologized, even though they started the fight? Most of us picture toxic people as loud, unpredictable, and visibly unstable. We look for the screaming boss, the explosive partner, or the obvious liar. But cognitive science reveals a terrifying truth. The most devastating psychological damage doesn't come from a shout. The most devastating psychological damage comes from a whisper. Right now, a specific type of psychological warfare is happening in offices, living rooms, and text messages every single day. Psychologists call this specific type of psychological warfare covert manipulation. The goal of covert manipulation isn't to violently force you into submission. The goal of covert manipulation is far more surgical. The goal is to quietly dismantle your trust in your own perception of reality.
When your psychological immune system is compromised by self-doubt, you become incredibly easy to control. And the weapons covert manipulators use are so subtle, you probably heard one of them today without even noticing. Why do covert manipulators do it? Covert manipulation all comes down to a concept called cognitive focus shifting. Imagine a bright spotlight on a dark stage. When a covert manipulator does something harmful or disrespectful, the bright spotlight hits them. The covert manipulator feels the blinding, uncomfortable heat of accountability.
The manipulator's immediate, instinctive goal is to turn that spotlight directly into your eyes. To turn the spotlight directly into your eyes, covert manipulators hack your natural human desire to be reasonable and understood. Covert manipulators throw out a carefully engineered phrase designed to trigger your emotional defenses. The moment you start defending yourself, you've lost. Because now you are on trial, and the covert manipulator is the judge. Let's decode the exact scripts covert manipulators use to hijack your brain, and more importantly, how to break their code. Tactic 1. The Trojan horse insult. You're at a dinner or a meeting. Someone casually drops a devastating critique about your life, your body, or your work. When you naturally flinch, the person smiles and says, "Relax, I was just joking." In psychology, this tactic of hiding a critique behind a joke is known as plausible deniability. Plausible deniability traps you in a cognitive double bind. If you stay quiet after the supposed joke, you swallow the poison, and they establish dominance. If you speak up, they immediately pivot and accuse you of being a humorless, overly sensitive killjoy. Either way, the manipulator walks away clean. The manipulator delivered the strike, but made you responsible for the damage. Tactic 2. The Phantom Army. I'm not the only one who thinks this. Everyone is saying it. Humans are deeply wired for tribal survival. The evolutionary threat of being rejected by the group triggers genuine, primal anxiety in our nervous system. A skilled manipulator knows the evolutionary threat of being rejected by the group triggers genuine, primal anxiety in our nervous system. So rather than fighting you one-on-one, the manipulator invents an invisible crowd of critics. Suddenly, you aren't disagreeing with a single person. You are standing alone against the world. The invisible crowd of critics is an illusion, perfectly designed to make you fold under the weight of imaginary social pressure. Tactic 3. The Weaponized Ledger. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? Or if you actually cared about me, you wouldn't question this. This weaponized ledger tactic turns a genuine past connection into a hostage situation. Manipulators take a favor they freely gave months or years ago and retroactively turn it into a contract you never signed. Suddenly, setting a basic boundary is framed as a profound betrayal. This framing of a boundary as a betrayal is emotional blackmail. Emotional blackmail operates on the false premise that loyalty requires absolute obedience.